Has everyone decided on the IV and the DV? At least. What is the IV? Time. Measured in what? Days. Lovely. What is the DV? Cost. Measured in what? Dollars. What if we were in Mexico? What if we were in Latvia? Euros. Nice. What if we were in Britain? Nice. What if we were in Saudi Arabia? Nobody? I think the Saudi Arabian currency is dinars, but I'm not totally sure. What if we were in India? Yeah, everybody's got that one. What if we were in Australia?
Kangaroo meat.
What? I'm sorry?
Kangaroo meat.
Dollars. Australia uses dollars.
But it's an Australian.
It's Australian dollars, but they are dollars nonetheless. All right. We've had some fun with that. What about Japan?
You forgot all the Asian.
What about Japan? Yen. What about China?
I don't know. Oh, what about Japan?
China. What would it be in China? Yuan. What would it be in Korea?
It's like a knockoff. Because everything
Won.
in Korea is a
W-O-N. You know, Korea is an ancient civilization, right? They're not a knockoff of nothing.
Korea knockoff of South Korea.
That doesn't even make any sense.
Jalem, did you just say that?
I did just say that.
Did you just say something that came out of somebody else's mouth makes no sense?
Yeah, everything that comes out of my mouth makes sense. It makes sense to you. It makes so much sense.
What did you say?
It makes sense. It can make
Are you going to make it rain with all the sense you're making?
Yeah, it can make it rain.
You can make dollars?
And then they're all gonna be
Dollar bills?
dollars.
Dollar bills?
Yeah, dollars.
Because that's how much sense you make?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So much sense after the cent store.
How far along the scale must I go? Excellent.
Yeah, you have to go by 65 minutes. And you can kind of go half. Just like little dots.
It doesn't matter what you go up the other side by. All right. If I rent the car, what is the least amount of time I can rent the car?
1 day.
1 day. Can I rent the car for 0 days? No. So at 0 time, do I have an open or a closed dot?
Close. Open door. No, I don't remember. No, close means it's no, it still makes sense. It's just like, I don't know. That makes sense. Why not?
That actually is the first sensible thing you've said today, that you don't know.
Oh, well, actually, I do know. It's an open dot.
It is an open dot at 0 and 65. Why?
Because there's nothing before.
There is no input at 0 because you have not rented the vehicle. 1 second after you sign that piece of paper, how much do you have to pay? $65. For how long? The whole day.
Oh.
What kind of dot? What kind of dot? Closed. What happens 1 second after the store opens on that second day? You start paying another $65, right? So you got to go up to 130. What kind of dot? How can I have a closed dot? If it's a closed dot on one day, I'm paying 65 or I'm paying 130. So what is it? Open dot. Out to 2, then what? Closed dot. Third day. What do I go up to? 195. Open or closed dot. Then I start going up by what? 30. So less of a gap here. Now, everyone agree? Is it a function?
Yes.
Why?
Because there's no two outputs for one input.
Right. Every time I change the input to a new day, I get a new output. So it's a function. Good. Now, the question asks, should they be connected or not? Well, you have some options here. This would be one option, to connect these.
Oh, I did that.
You could also connect these. Or you could connect these. Should you connect any of those? Yes or no?
Yeah, the red one. Oh, wait.
How many people feel we should be connecting the blue one? Why not?
There's no variable there.
There's no value there. It's going through open dots. So the blue one's out. How many people feel we should be connecting the purple dots? The purple lines.
I don't know. Yeah. I say purple. I say purple because there'd be values in between if we connect it through the red.
Why? He's just given his reason while he's left his hand up. Damaris, why are you shaking your head?
Because you can't, like it says that it charges $65 per day, which for then so when you actually switch, you aren't including those values in between because you aren't going to pay those values.
Absolutely right. There is no output between 65 and 130. You can't pay $97 for this car. So the purple lines are out. So that leaves us with the red line. Do I draw the red line? Yes or no? If I walked around, I would see some people with the red line on their graph. Why did you put it there? 1 out of 30 of you drew the red line.
I drew it, but I erased it after.
Why?
I thought it was wrong. No, I see. There's you can put it there because there is time increasing in between there. You can have one half of a day, but you can't pay half of the dollar for the car.
So I'm going to put a purple dot. No, I've already used purple. I'm going to put a dusty rose dot at 1.5 days. How much do I pay to rent the car there?
$65. Still 65.
No.
Oh,
130. According to this, at 1.5 days, I should be paying that, shouldn't I? If that line is there. Is that line there? Should that line be there? No.
Okay.
So the question is, should I connect the dots in any way? No. Why? There's not a domain and range value for every input. See how far I got for every input. Does everybody understand? Yeah? Is it a function? Yes. Why? What makes this a function? Right. No repeated outputs. I lie. Wait, sorry, my mistake. No repeated inputs giving the same output. Yeah? Now, not trick, but requires you to pay very close attention. What is the domain, which I like to write in red, and what is, or blue, and what is the range that I like to write in red? What are we measuring on the domain? Time or days, right? Time. Do I use set notation? Do I use interval notation? What do I use?
You could use interval
I can absolutely use interval. Why?
because
Because
there is no
there is always an input all the way along.
and it just makes sense since it's
So, what kind of bracket?
square.
Square? Round. It doesn't include 0.
Oh, I thought we were starting off at 1 because you can't rent it for 0.
But you can rent it for up to 1.
Oh, okay.
So not including 0, up to what? Do I include 7?
Yes.
So what kind of bracket? Square. How would I write it in set notation?
Squiggly bracket.
Squiggly bracket.
0.
T,
Oh,
because that's my variable, colon, and what are the rules about T?
greater than 0 and less, less than or equal to 7.
Any other rules? Can I be any value in there? Can I rent this car for 1 day, 1 minute, and 1 second? Yes. So I have to have another rule there. T is the set of all the real numbers because I can put any input between 0 and 7 in there. Everybody cool? Great. What's the range? Can I use interval notation? Why not? Because it's set prices, so I can only do set notation. What are they? 65, 130, 195. Now what happens? Goes up by 30. 225, 255, 285, 315. And I have to list them. Got me? Picking up what I'm putting down? Read my mail, mow my lawn? Paddling my canoe? Cleaning my gutters? Straighten my what? Scraping my toe fungus. I was actually going to use power washing my driveway. That's crazy. That was the next one I was going to say. Not a word of a lie. Get out of my brain, Jalem. Actually.
I told you that makes sense. So like, if he,
All right. Back to work.
I
Okay.
don't know where the heck I am in here, so it's too big.
Okay. So, this is what we call discrete data or data, depending on where you're from. Americans like to say data, British people like to say data, whatever. discrete data Make sure you get a good night's sleep. I'll be knocking you up in the morning.
That sounds so weird.
Because that's a British saying. To wake you up in the morning in a hotel, if they knock on your door, it's knocking you up. Don't say that to kids and to, people in Canada. I'll knock you up in the morning. Not if I say no, you won't. Also, here's another one in case you go to Australia. Do not say, one second. Everybody understand? Discrete means you don't have available outputs for every input or available inputs for every output. Everybody cool? So, what is continuous data? Is everybody good? It only takes a sentence to explain it, but to apply it, you have to do some thinking. Turn the page over. Do those four. I want the IV, the DV, and if it is discrete or continuous. And a reason. Certainly. I suppose I should say, and vice versa. You know what that means, guys? Works both ways. So 3 plus 7 is 10, right? 7 plus 3 is 10. Vice versa. You have 4 of them to attempt. Go diddly-o while I have I'd like to do the first one. What's the IV? What's the DV? Independent is air temperature. And half the class is saying independent is the speed of sound. All right, here's an example. Nobody make a sound. Is there an air temperature? So what's the independent variable? Air temperature. What then do we write for discrete or continuous? It is indeed continuous because there is always a temperature, and as long as sound is being passed through the medium of the air,
And the constant pressure.
right? And what's your reason? At every available temperature, even temperatures which we do not measure, because we don't measure temperatures much less than degrees, do we? But the temperature does not go from 21 degrees to 22 degrees, does it? It goes through every fraction between. At every available temperature, there's a speed. Everybody Gouda? Now, look at your next three, knowing what you know about what I just said, and see if you need to make any changes. You should. I wanted all four done in the first place. I'll wait a moment for people to make some decisions. And then I will ask again, what is the IV? What is the DV? Age is IV. DV is dosage. Is it discrete or continuous? It is discrete. Why?
When you're 12 and a half, the dose is for 12.
Right. Right. We are counting dose by year, not by the millisecond. You do not take your vitamin C pill when you are 5 days past 12 and cut it into 5 365ths of a pill, do you? No. Yay! Third one, IV, DV, discrete or continuous, and reason. IV is the cans, DV is the cost. Discrete or continuous? Discrete. Why?
You can't buy half can.
Can't buy half a can. I cannot go to Safeway and say, I would like a can of 5 Alive, please. That will be $1, sir. Here is my dollar. I am no longer thirsty. Here is half your can back. May I have 50 cents? Does that work?
That would be cool if it did.
No, it wouldn't be cool if it did. Then there would be all these empty. It would be like camping with kids who go into the cooler, grab a pop, drink it for 2 seconds, put it on the picnic table, run into the woods. I'm thirsty. Run back to the cooler, get a new pop. Glug, glug, glug. Run into the woods, put it on the picnic table, come back. I'm thirsty. Put it on the picnic table, run into the woods. I'm thirsty. And then, meanwhile, the parents come and they try to clean up. And then, of course, every half can of pop gets filled with wasps. And some idiot child then picks up their half can of pop, takes a drink, gets stung in the lip. Because they're doofuses. I'm having a new rule this year that when I camp, no cans of any non-adult beverage. Because kids cannot understand that when you open a can, you drink the can. So every kid is getting a bottle with their name on it. If they lose the bottle, no more drinks. I guess they're dying of thirst. Somebody has to teach these people.
Your kid's just going to have to crack open a cold one of these.
And finally, IV, DV, discrete or continuous, and reason.
The wording is kind of weird there, but the altitude is the independent variable.
The altitude is the independent variable.
Because altitude can change all at once, and the temperature will not. The altitude won't change due to the temperature.
So the dependent variable is the temperature?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, even though it says that, it says the altitude is related.
You think that's correct?
I think that's correct because the temperature will, if the temperature changes.
If it was a sunny day, what gigantic geographical feature would we see to the south of us? Which mountain? Mount Baker. What would we see on the top of Mount Baker? Buckets and buckets and buckets of snow. As a matter of fact, it is probably -5 degrees on Mount Baker right now. What is the difference between us and Mount Baker right now? The altitude. So, is this correct? Yes, it is correct.
Why would you do that to me?
Because you're fun. Everybody has an altitude. The temperature depends on where you are. At sea level, right now, it's 16 degrees outside. But on the top of Mount Baker, it is 1 degree. Is it discrete or continuous? Continuous. Why?
There's always temperature, fractional temperature for a fraction.
There's fractional temperatures, there are fractional altitudes. I do not teleport from here, 16 degrees, 0 meters above sea level, to Mount Baker, 1 degree, 3,000 meters above sea level. It is not Star Trek. I must go through all the millimeters between here and there. Right? Is everybody good? Yeah? Great. That's today's lesson. Do page 184. We should have been quizzing today, which means I timed this perfectly, this nice short little lesson, and then a quiz, except quality technology once again.
Quality over technology. Or over function. That makes sense to me, but.